you good motherfuckers, the Buttsman here, and let's talk about Captain Marvel because the entire internet's freaking the fuck out.
I'm not what you think I am.
Captain Marvel is the brand new Marvel movie that came out last week, and for the last few weeks, everyone has been freaking the fuck out about this movie. Everyone online is just saying how much they hate it or how much they love it. There doesn't seem to be anyone in the middle. But this is the thing. Why is everyone freaking out? Why are people hating it? One of the biggest talking points about this movie is the main character. And the main character, believe it or not, is a woman. And a lot of people are saying that the reason people are hating on this movie is because the internet is sexist. Now, is that the case? Is it just a bad movie? There's a lot of questions, so let's unpack it. So I went out and did some research, and by that I mean I went and watched it. And can I just say, from my point of view as a moviegoer, I enjoy going to the movies like many people. It was a typical comic book movie. The main character had some issues, and then they defeated the issues. Was it a good movie? No. Was it a terrible movie? No. From the scale of, let's say, The Shawshank Redemption being a really good movie, and The Female Ghostbusters being possibly the worst movie of all time, I mean, honestly, I enjoyed Kim Kardashian's terrible porn tape more than The Female Ghostbusters, but hey, can you blame me? But if you have a look at the reviews from an outside perspective here, the Marvel movie has got an 80% Rotten Tomato rating, which is really, really good. But in saying that, Ghostbusters, this one, has a 74% Rotten Tomato rating. So what does that tell us? It tells us that these ratings are bullshit. A lot of people have been saying that the reason that people don't like this movie is because it contains a woman as the main character. Now, I, like many people, enjoy a movie regardless of who the main character is, if it's a good movie. I mean, look at Wonder Woman. I enjoyed that movie, even though the ending was fucking awful. I enjoyed that movie, regardless of who is the main character. But I think this is more or less just a way of saying the reason that this movie is flopping out in the box office is because people are sexist and misogynist. Okay, I understand why people use that argument. And the reason that people use that argument is because it's very easy. But all of that is beside the point, because the real reason that people are shitty with this movie is because of the main character, Brie Larson. Brie's made some pretty fucked up comments about white men. Now, I know what you're thinking. The internet is full of celebrities making fucked up comments about white men. We're pretty fucking used to it. So let's go back to 2018 where she made this infamous speech and see what the fuck Brie is talking about.
I am so grateful to be up here to receive this award. So earlier this week, USC Annenberg's Inclusive Initiative released findings that 67% of the top critics reviewing the 100 highest grossing movies in 2017 were white males. Less than a quarter were white women, and less than 10% were unrepresented men. Only 2.5% of those top critics were women of color. So you're probably thinking right now, like, wow, that super doesn't represent the country that I live in, and that's because that's true.
67% are white men. Okay, I know it's 2019 and skin color is the most important part of anyone's life. But what about the genders and the ethnicities of people who review movies outside of the mainstream media? Have you had a look at that, Brie? Perhaps we should really take a look at the skin color, because that's what you're fucking really into, and sexual organs that people have who review things on YouTube. Let's say, for example, you went through every single review on YouTube about this movie. I think, now I could be completely wrong, but I think the percentages may stay the same. Why that is, I don't know. Maybe you do. Let me know what you think about this whole thing down below.
This is a huge disconnect from the US population breakdown of 30% white men, 30% white women, 20% men of color, and 20% women of color. So why does that matter? Why am I up here giving you statistics when I could be spending this time talking about my publicist? Am I saying that I hate white dudes? No, I'm not. But what I am saying is that if you make a movie that is a love letter to women of color, there is an insanely low chance a woman of color will have the chance to see your movie and review your movie.
Right there, she's talking about the movie A Wrinkle in Time. And she is blaming, for the flop of that movie, racism. Because, well, as I said before, it's very easy to do that. Maybe the movie was just shit, Brie. Have you ever thought of that?
So what would it take for the critic pool to match this 30-30-2020 real-world breakdown, and how can we get there? Well, the bottom line is that if each of the top 100 films in a year added 9 critics that are 3 underrepresented males, 3 white females, 3 underrepresented females, and the average critic pool would match the US population in just 5 years. Super simple.
Okay, we're talking about representation. That's an important topic. But this is the way that these representation arguments go. They're always trying to put people into cushy jobs like movie reviewing or politicians or CEO roles. You never hear anyone whinging about the vast majority of white men that work in the garbage industry, right? Or as bricklayers. You never hear anyone fucking whinging about we need more female fucking garbos. No, it never fucking happens because there's no real benefit to it. If you really want the push for equal representation, then you have to have it everywhere. You can't just pick the good bits. Also, Brie, talking mad shit about white men in their 40s, not a good move. Who watches comic book movies? White men in their 40s. This is just another fine example of people in the media trying to fight racism and sexism with racism and sexism. Ladies and gentlemen, as I've said several fucking times, that will never work. Until we come to a point where we don't give a fuck about skin color, we're always going to have these factions in society, and that is not healthy. Does someone's skin color and their gender really affect how they can review a movie? If you're a woman, should you not be allowed to review a movie about white dudes playing tennis? If you're an African American man, should you not be able to review a movie about a Jewish man in a concentration camp? Our skin color and our gender does not define how our brains are able to think. Let people be people, let them do what they want to do. And Brie Larson, stop carrying on like a complete and utter fuckwit. So, make up your own mind. Go and see the Marvel movie if you want to see it. And if you don't want to see it, then don't fucking see it. Who gives a shit? And Brie, honestly, here's a message from Marvel, which I'm sure they want to say to you, but they can't. Please stop costing us all of the monies. For fuck's sake, ladies and gentlemen, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Me dick, me didn't stank. That'll do. And don't forget, as always, to subscribe because we're going to hit 1 million subscribers by my birthday on the 14th of July. Be a good motherfucker. Already said that. Goodbye. See you later. New video tomorrow night. Fuck yeah.